Hi y'all, welcome back to another episode of Coloring Passports. Today we are getting into our big game book. I'm super excited. This is the first page. Let's get right into it. Okay, so I'm feeling a little rusty, not gonna lie. It's been a hot minute since I've done one of these tutorials, and this is the first one in this book, and so I always ask myself, are we going for photorealism or do we want to pop art this? I have a card here. I want to do some swatching. Because I could do the background. The backgrounds are the things that always just jack me up, completely jack me up while I'm trying to stretch how I do these things. So I'm gonna swatch some things. I'm gonna leave them out here so I can see what I have swatched. Oh, that's really nice. The thing is that I would like to turn this into a sticker. So I would like for it to be pretty. Why can't we put a pattern on that? Is it possible? Will it work? Would you be interested in a pattern? That's what I have to ask myself. Rio, do you really want a pattern on there? Why, yes, I feel like I kind of do. I kind of do want a pattern on there because I like the pop arty pattern, like, you know, things, but I know that we're dealing with a different look with this. So, let's get into it first. I'm going to swatch. I've got a Prismacolor dark brown here. I'm going to swatch that. Definitely not a primary color in this deer's face. So, I'm going to grab the rest of my browns here just to kind of, this is chestnut. It's not really a great color for this. This is chocolate. Chocolate works in that area. What do we got here? A little bit more red. I don't know what I'm doing. Definitely a color. Definitely a color. Then we've got to go more yellowies. Light umber. Yeah. And then there's some yellow undertones to all of this as well. This is bronze. Okay. I definitely see this yellow ochre. I'm going to sharpen the pencil. Earballs. Okay. I definitely can see this yellow ochre undertones in this deer photograph here. So I'm going to come in here right now and I'm just going to start laying in some of this just very, very lightly. With the yellow ochre, gonna go down to his neck right here. I know that's gonna get a little bit darker, so I'm just gonna add a little more pressure. It's gonna remind you of the same thing that I remind you in all of these images. This is for practice. This is not perfection. Your job here is just to experiment with color. If you're nervous to start, then make a copy of it and do it on something else, like Xerox paper or whatever, and then start your book. I like my book to be cohesive and full. I like to go through and look at all of the images after I'm done. So, and I want to make sure that I'm offering you the best possible solution. So I always have a little bit of extra pressure on me for these, but I don't want you to feel any pressure. You're here to learn. Now, I'm getting sloppy with the way that I'm filling this in because it kind of doesn't matter at this point yet. So, add just a touch of the yellow around his eyes because these don't really read like white. So we've got to, even though we know that some of these areas on his body are in air quotes white, we've got to lay down a base color first. That's the only drawback to doing this with a white paper, is that we really have to lay down some of these other colors first. This big O buck is just going to be a beaut. So I just need all of these things to lay down, and then we'll pick up some other colors. So I basically have nearly colored this entire animal in this yellow here. We're just going to add a little rando yellow there. A little bit of yellow showing through here, because when I come in to start developing this, I know that this right here is a little bit darker. So I'm just going to come in softly here. This is darker. Come in softly here. This is clearly going to be darker. This is darker. His back leg is going to be a lot darker. This is going to be darker. Underneath his antler's going to cast a shadow. His antler's going to cast a shadow right here. That's going to be darker. This part of his face right here is going to be a bit darker. This is going to be darker. This right in here is obviously going to be a little bit darker. The back, his back is going to be darker. We're just going to darken that up a bit. Okay, I'm going to keep this color out so that I remember that I have used it. And now I want, ooh, what do I want? Do I want this? Ooh, that's a nice color. So this is dark umber. I'm going to come in with the dark umber here. Right over the top of that. Gonna dark umber his nose a bit. His mouth. Just gonna come in here with all the things. We're going to dark umber this area here where we started laying the shadows. I'm gonna come in with some of this dark umber. These areas, I know I've got quite a shadow cast here on his antler as well. This is like don't go too dark. So you can always go lighter, but don't go, be careful how dark you go at first. Oh my gosh. Because you will not, it'll be very challenging to reverse course. I guess I've decided to paint this realistically, semi-realistically, because I'm a little rusty and I haven't really dove into this very deeply yet. So let's just see what we come up with. What was I working with? I was working with the dark brown. Readers on. Let's get into it after we get these reference photo back. There it is. Okay. So we know for a fact that this area back here, and I'm just making teeny tiny little baby circles. It's like little eggy shapes. Taking my time, building up that dark color. Really just letting that develop. I know right here where his neck meets his body, there's going to be a little bit of an indentation. So I'm going to make that a little darker. His this is definitely going to be darker. The outside edge of this is going to be darker. And you see that it looks more purpley brown there than it does here. And that's because we've used that yellow as an undertone. And those undertone colors are super important when we're trying to get this right. Now we're going to go right here. I promise this is going to be cool. Just bear with me. Once we're going to get it worked out, and then it's going to pop and we're all going to be like, oh yeah, that's exactly where we were going with that. Shadow there, shadow there, shadow on the back side of this, shadow under here. I'm just going to keep bouncing around until I get it the way I want it to look. And then we'll come in with some markers and we'll highlight some of these things and just be like, bang, bing, bang, boom, done. That's at least what I'm telling myself right now. Keep in mind that every painting goes through the ugly phase, and sometimes that ugly phase is a very long, drawn-out process. I know for a fact that this part here is going to be darker. Don't worry about it if you color outside the lines. We're probably going to outline this with a wild color anyway, because what's the point if we can't have fun with the colors? literally just working the same color hair. We're gonna get ready to go darker on the nose. Let's get in there with some of the red. This is the sort of sienna brown. So I'm thinking I'm going to sharpen a few of these to get them more stout. I'm going to come in and start layering some more of these. It's occurred to me that maybe, just maybe, we lay in some of these blue grays first. This is slate gray. I really like this color. Part of the reason that we cover all of the illustration with the colored pencils is because it lays down a waxy protective barrier for us. And that way when we break out our paint markers, it doesn't creep through to the other side. There's no creep. I'm seeing some of this here and some of this here. come down here and add some of that right there. Oh yeah, that's kind of nice. It's gonna go right over all of that yellow with this slate gray. Just kind of start dialing it all in. Okay, he's looking kind of, he's starting to come together. I'm okay with this. All right, so now what's next? I am sort of feeling like I just really sort of cut to the chase. I don't have 100% of a plan here because this is really a new genre for me. I haven't painted a white-tailed deer in probably, let's see, $22 years. And the last one I did was a real doozy of a painting. It was 6 foot by 5 foot, so I pretty much burned out immediately, and that was that. Oh, I don't remember which marker it was. Is it this one? Or is it this one? Yeah, it's that one. So, I'm going to outline this. Because I just don't 100% know where I'm going with this yet. Oh, I do like that. Okay, I'm gonna like that. Yep, I'm gonna like that. Okay. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. Let's go get some water and fire up some of this watercolor paint. So I'm feeling a little curious as to what happens if I start adding some fluorescent colors in here, because I put the blue slate down. Now I'm wondering what happens if I add, say, a fluorescent orange to the top of this. I want the deer to be fun, not plain and boring. I want fun. I want fun colors. Oh. I think that's working. Yeah. If you don't have fluorescent colors, I'm sorry. Grab an orange out of your kit and use the orange. Because the deal is that blue and orange are complementary colors, so they're going to make brown, which is, you know, the rusty tone is what color this deer is, because it's clearly not winter here, based on the color of his coat. He's not gone grayish yet. So let's just see what we can come up with here. I don't know. Is that working? Oh, it's kind of working. Okay. I'm going to set that down because I want to revisit that in a minute. Okay. I've grabbed the bronze. I'm going in darker. I just really want to get this down the road a little bit more. And I'm being a little too timid. So this deer has loads of color on him. And I can see it all, which makes it very difficult for me to get through one of these without using all of those colors. So let's see what we can come up with here. I'm just going right over all this other stuff back here that I've already colored. And I'm using a fair amount of pressure. I don't want to max out my wax layers with this yet. Hey, that's starting to happen there. Gotta start putting in some of the lines here. I know he's got lines here and here. And this again might be a better time to start using some of the paint pens rather than just attempting to do all of this via the colored pencil, because these colored pencils can only go so dark. They do have a limit, and they are relatively transparent. And I'm not a fan of the cross-hatching situation going on there, but I think that the dark brown, yes, will lend itself to. So this comes down here. So this right here is dark. This right here behind his neck, right there, is dark. And then there's some shadow right here. Probably from his antlers. But this is even darker, which means that I need a darker, where is it? Here it is. Look at that. That's some dark there. Yes. Get this right here. Get this right here. So we've kind of got his nose a little bit messed up right now, but we will come back and fix that. So don't worry about that. We'll come back and use the pens to highlight his nose. I just need to get it laid in there. So we've got some of this right here, we've got some shadowy here, we've got shadow here, we've got shadow here. We've got a lot of shadow right here. I mean a lot of shadow right here. Okay, it's coming together. Okay. I'm going to put down a thicker base here. I'm using two fluorescent colors. I'm using the yellow 04 from the Brufuner fluorescent collection, and I am just wildly laying in color. And I am using orange 13-47 for the, I'm just trying to get some light where I want it here. And it's going to look like a hot mess for a minute, but I promise, I think I can pull this off. Maybe not. Again, keep in mind, every time we do one of these, this is practice. This is just practice for you to be able to do something even cooler later on. So, I've got out 3, 5, 6 colors here, but I feel like I need, I'm looking at these, thinking to myself, yep, let's use some of this first. So, I don't think I brought all of them with me. I'm gonna activate the paint. This is watercolor paint, but it's more kind of it's almost a mix. It's almost an in-between a watercolor and a tempera. So I'm just gonna load it pretty hardcore. And we'll see. We'll see how it does. I gotta go get my other brush. Okay, we're gonna rip this off like a band-aid because I just feel like, one, let's grab some of this, grab some of the white. See, because I have that really nice layer of color down with the colored pencils, the watercolor just kind of sits right on top. There we go. We're just painting the illusion of this. Now, bear in mind, I'm pretty new to this. I am demanding of myself that I loosen up my brush strokes. So this could go good and it could be awful all at the same time. Probably should have a little bit of blue in that. The blue kind of neutralizes everything a bit. So it's a build on the super dark. So I know that there's going to be dark back here with the ear. Dark here, dark here. Eyes are dark, we'll come in later and fix those. Nose is definitely gonna be dark, we'll come in later and fix that. Right now it looks fairly ridiculous, but I'll fix it. You have to be careful with the purple because purple is the darkest naturally occurring color on the color wheel, but it's also really intense, which means sometimes it comes forward in ways you don't want it to come forward. So I'm going to clean my brush off. I'm going to go back, grab some of this yellow. See, I'm just trying to loosen it up just a skosh. How's that looking? I don't know. I'm doing the watercolor first, then I'm going to come in with the paint pens and paint some pretty broad strokes across it. See, right now I feel like it just looks like mud. It's not mud. Definitely not mud. So it's better than mud, but it's not where I want to go with it. So. Okay, there we go. We got that. I'm going to put the broad brush away for now. We're going to let this dry. We'll be right back. So, it appears we are dry enough to attempt to start laying in some paint. So I'm going to take number 724, and I'm not going to allow myself to do all of it. I'm only going to come in and do some of the, this is very difficult for me because my instinct as a photorealist is to blend it until it's perfection, till that antler looks exactly like an antler. This is a field note study. It doesn't need that level of commitment. Gonna go around his eyes. This part right here. Under his chin. Here under his nose. Here. I'm refusing to allow myself to blend. I'm just putting in some color. Whew, that's very challenging for me. Very, very challenging for me. 719. Where is that at? Okay, so let's start laying in some yellow. Ooh, I'm scared. Not kidding, I'm scared. Here we go. Oh my gosh, this is painful for me to do. There would be some color there. Some color back there. Let me shake this up a little bit more. It's not really coming out the way I want it to. I feel like I want to come in with higher value colors. I don't like that yellow. That's part of it, is that I don't like that yellow choice. That yellow is grody. That's better. Okay, I can get behind that just a little bit more. Okay, get some of that blue in there. All right, that works for me. Because that blue would, you know, kind of be in there. The problem is that I'm trying to not use the same color throughout the entire painting. Meaning that if I'm going to use a blue, it's got to be different in the back than it does up front. It's got, the hue has to shift. Something about it has to shift. So this feels like all the dark yucky tones, and then I don't know what to do with the happy tones. I don't know where the happy tones are. Where are the happy tones? Where are they? Not there. That's not a happy tone. I want to use some fluorescence. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that is going to make me happier. Okay, that's starting to come to life. I don't hate that. I like that color. It's a shame it's almost out. And you can't really order individual colors with these. You end up having to order the entire set if you run out. So, you know, that's kind of not great. That pink doesn't work. Okay, let's stop. Okay, y'all. Let's finish this strong. I want to put in some color in the background. I just grabbed some blues and some little bit of blue, a little bit of green, making a little something here. And then I will figure out what I'm doing after that. I just needed some color. I just needed to see some color. So get them pages a little bit wrinkled there. Get it going on. Come outside of the lines a bit. It's all good. Oh yeah, there we go. Add some ochre in. Oh, add some ochre in there. Some yellow ochre. That's cool. Okay, that's not terrible. I don't hate that. I am not allowing myself to spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on this because it's not necessary. It's practice. Keep telling yourself that. Keep reminding yourself that this is practice. I want to set down his eyeball on this side just a touch. There we go. That's a little bit better. That is actually a little bit better. I'm gonna add some yellow ochre to his leg here. Then I'm gonna grab some of these colors. There we go. This has a highlight on it, so I know for a fact that we've got some light right here on this leg. And we've got light right here. Oh, well, that kind of works for me. Sometimes just adding a little bit of cross hatching there is a good idea. Okay. Darken this right here just a touch because that's underneath him. That'll set him back a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to ditch the watercolor pen here and I'm going to go back to the paint markers. Actually, I have my micron pens in my hand here. I'm just going to add some shading here, just a skosh, because I just want to kind of reinforce that. Okay, now maybe we'll outline it with the blue and, you know, kind of get down the road a little bit here with this. Maybe we'll outline it with the white. Maybe that is the idea. Oh, dear. that one is not working properly. Let me grab a different one here and a white gel pen here. Oh my goodness. Well, that's not making me happy. Let's see if this makes me happy. Better. I don't think I want to cover up all the blue. Just gonna go in and add some highlights here where I think they would be, and I'm not allowing myself to overwork this. These are practice, and I feel like I don't do you guys any favors when I go in and I try to make these look perfect. I just need finished. I like this pen a lot. This is a new pen in my archive here. Okay, how's that look? I think we're gonna call it good. Whew. So sometimes you just gotta take a break and come back. Sometimes that's what it takes. You just gotta take a break and then come back to it. So I think we're gonna call this one finished. This is the first one, the first page in the brand new book for North American Big Game. I'm super excited. There's some room for improvement in here, obviously, but at this point, we're gonna call it good because that's what we're gonna do. And I have to stop or I'll just keep reworking it. All right, y'all. So that's it. We're gonna call it. I'm not gonna do nothing else. We're done. I'm letting it go. Gotta learn to let it go. Like we're building a snowman here. Anyway, I'm Rio. This has been another episode of Coloring Passports. Thanks for joining me in the studio. I'll see you on the next page.